Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a show Sunday. We haven't done this in a little while. But we stayed in anime land and we watched Spy Family or Spy X Family, depending on how you would like to pronounce it. The short version is go watch it immediately.
Yes.
Now we'll talk about it. Go watch it immediately and then come back and watch this. Like, if you've heard a lot of hype about this show, yeah, it's deserved. Please go watch it now.
Like, okay, this is one of those things that I feel like very easily could have been annoying.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, just how the characters act, and also, like, the pacing is, like really fast.
It's breakneck speed.
Yeah, and so, like, also just kind of given the dynamic, and, like, honestly, just, like, Anya as a character, I feel like it would have been super easy to have all of that come off as annoying. But it's not. So this shit just keeps happening, and it's like, it's ridiculous, and it's just like, oh my god. And, like, this is a perfect example of people, like, whenever anyone's like, I'm kind of weird tangent, but people, when people talk about D&D, and they're like, there's your intelligence stat and your wisdom stat, and people are like, what's the difference between the two? And I'm like, these are intelligent people that have very low wisdom. Like, that's the perfect way of describing them. So, yeah.
No, it was because I was the one who introduced Mai to Spy Family, actually, because so years ago I had heard about the manga and everything, but I just never got the chance to read it and stuff. And then I heard about the anime coming out, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. We'll watch the anime, and if we like it, then we can read
We really need to find the manga.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
find the manga. And then I was like, Mai, do you want to watch it with me? And similarly, Mai was like, okay, sure. I'm not sure how much I'll like this and everything. And then after the first episode, Mai was like,
I was like, I am completely sold on this.
Because, yeah, like, the characters themselves, I feel like they could have very easily been, like, really annoying or done badly and everything. But I feel like the fact of, like,
they went completely all in on, like,
the comedy,
super serious, but also it's a comedy. Like, it's one of those comedies where everyone takes themselves too seriously.
Yeah. So the fact that they went, like, again, the fact they embrace, like, that this is kind of a ridiculous scenario on top of things and all that stuff, like, it does actually, it makes it better in that sense. So
yeah. The fact that, like, Lloyd is like, okay, what the heck, he looks like he's having a mental crisis every episode.
It's just like, why? Like, he's the one who's absolutely taking things way too seriously, and it's so funny. Okay, like, we have watched the sub version, and, like, this is basically us having caught up, except episode 8 with the dub. And I'm just like, I want to watch the sub and the dub at the same time.
Yeah,
there are definitely some jokes that are funnier in the dub.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely something where, like, because it's so quick, this sub would just be really hard to keep up with things.
Yeah, sometimes it is really hard to keep up with.
Yeah, we knew after, like, watching Break Pretender with you, because we watched the dub all the way through. We were like, okay, no, this is another comedy. We have to watch this dubbed, or Valen's not going to get any of it.
Especially when we watched the 8th episode where it has two people speaking at the same time.
Yeah, the dub is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
speaking of the dub, okay, so I was like, as I go through, sometimes with dubs and things like this, I'm like, these characters sound kind of familiar. Is this like a person who I know or whatever? And, like,
right, yeah.
So the main characters, like, don't even have Wikipedia pages, so I don't even, like, know.
Yeah,
so,
we looked that up too.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know about that. But, Damien,
yeah,
is Winry.
What?
And, like, I didn't realize it. I'm like, that voice sounds familiar, and also it's just like, it's kind of like, you could, I don't know, like, I know it's relatively common that you'll have, like, like, adult women like voicing like kid like boys. Like I know
Yeah.
that's pretty common, but this was like
Yeah.
very obvious.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of funny. Like, you know, it's not really a knock on it too much because again, the show is such a ridiculous kind of a weird scenario that it's like doesn't really bother me. But it was weird where I'm like, this voice is familiar, and so that was not who I thought it was though. But yeah, that's who it is.
Wow, I would have never expected that.
But
So,
yeah, I am going to be curious as this keeps going, like, because I feel like as it is right now, how they've set it up where, you know, she's in the academy, like, how are they going to keep Lloyd and
The
Yor
momentum.
involved in the story as much
Yeah,
as they
see,
were
we have no
before?
idea at the moment either.
Yeah, because I feel like it would be something where it's like, wouldn't the story just mostly focus on what Anya's doing? Which again, I'm not saying that would be bad, but it definitely feels like I like the balance that they had before. So I hope
Yeah.
that continues in a certain way.
We will say episode 8 is mostly Lloyd and Yor centric.
Okay.
But we just don't have the dub for it right now. I guess it's not out at the moment.
we can't say for the whole series, but yeah, I hope that they can also keep the I'm hoping the fact that in the opening it does feature all three of them prominently and everything. It is a sign that it's probably still going to be very centric on all three of them as a unit.
Yeah, I hope so.
The other thing that I know of is that at least I've gotten this from fan art and stuff from people that I presume have read the manga. There will be a fourth member that will join the family, which is Bond the dog.
He's a dog.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was again looking at Wikipedia for like list of characters. I saw that they get a dog at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, there will be a dog at some point. We haven't seen him yet, but
you know, I just saw that there was a dog. I didn't read. There was like a some text below that I didn't read it, and now I'm wondering like, okay, what secret agent angle is the dog gonna have involved?
Yeah, exactly. There will be. I feel like there probably is gonna be something weird with the dog, but basically, I don't know what.
It's basically like I don't know, Perry the Platypus, but like it's a dog. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
It could be.
Maybe the dog is actually a plant.
Like with how ridiculous everything is, he very well could be a plant.
I do wonder because. I imagine, do we know at all, like, how long the show is supposed to go?
So, it's good. Right now, this is season 1.
But this is part 1 of season 1.
Yeah, so part 1 of season 1 is going to be 12 episodes, and then later in the year, they're going to air the other 12 episodes. Right now, there's nothing on if there will be a season 2, but I feel like because of how well the reception was and everything, there's a really good chance that there will be a season 2.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that like there's more story to tell, right? Through like right? Because it is one of those things where like we don't really necessarily want what happened to Attack on Titan, which was already not great. Anyway, not talking about that anymore. But yeah, because like whenever it comes to stuff like this, because I'm always thinking like how are they going to play the whole different roles that people have? Because again, the whole thing is that like everyone has the secret and everyone thinks that they're the only one. Well, that's not true. Anya knows that the two of them have.
Anya knows everything.
But like the point is that like both Yor and Lloyd think that they're the only one who's weird and only one has a secret identity, and they're not sure. So like I don't know. Like personally, I'm kind of when it comes to secret identities, because like again, I've seen like superhero stuff or whatever. I'm just in general, I kind of don't like the whole like hiding the secret identity thing. But it depends on how it's done. So far it's fine. But it's like, is this going to be the status quo, or is it going to be something where maybe at the end of part 1, or maybe at the end of season 1 of 2 or something, they're actually going to know about each other, and is that going to change the story? I don't know, right? And I would like to see that, because I think it would be interesting to see how that plays out character wise. Because I feel like a lot of times this is like, either they just don't reveal it at all, or they do, but it's like at the very end, so therefore you don't actually get to see what like happens with that, going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that it gets revealed at some point, then that makes sense, and there's like stuff that's done with that. But obviously I don't know. So
we don't. All I know is that the manga is still going on right now, so that is something. I know that probably what will happen is once the 12th episode airs, in that period between the first part and the second part airing, we'll probably try to find some way to find the manga.
If anyone has any recommendations, let us know.
Yeah, but yeah, we just went to a con just last weekend too, of which it was actually kind of like surprising to see like people already had prints and merch
And
cosplays for Spy Family, and I was like, wow, I'm so happy I got to get like Spy Family stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because I'm just thinking like, I mean, well, I'm not really in like the anime space in terms of like, you know, Twitter and stuff like that. But I feel like there hasn't really been like a really popular anime in the last couple years. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, there were certain anime where like when it came out, it's like felt like everyone was talking about it. You know, again, like for worse, like Attack on Titan was one of those, right? You know, and so then there's others too. But I feel like the last several years there kind of hasn't been one. Like I don't know.
Really.
Maybe I'm just not paying attention, but.
I think other than Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, that's true. Demon Slayer was kind of everywhere, but that was like, I don't know, mostly like 2020, wasn't it?
I don't know. It had to be before 2020, I think.
Maybe 2019, and
I
then
don't even know.
Oh, JJK was
Jujutsu Kaisen came out of.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's fine.
But yeah, I think this is like compared to those though, this is like just a very wholesome anime.
It's also a very different genre
it's not
what
really,
really gets big.
It's not really the type of thing that you would think
would get big either.
Right. I mean, yeah, not necessarily one that's like, you know, oh, it's like weird that people like this, but no, like there's a hierarchy usually, right?
Yeah.
And this is not this is not something that would be like the top of everyone's list usually.
Usually comedy gets like it falls to the wayside most of the time.
Especially since this is kind of like
it's a family comedy.
Yeah, it's a family comedy. So, because a lot of I know for a bunch of people the shipping aspect is kind of a big proponent, but there's no shipping aspect in here. It's just comedy, family comedy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there kind of isn't. I mean, like the ship you could do is the one that's like there, like
already kind of canon.
Yeah, it's like there's no point really. So I mean, okay. Here's, I assume you don't know this because I assume this wouldn't come up in just one episode. Do you think this is random? This is because I have a feeling this is the kind of show that like near the end of it will get like really dark and depressing.
Oh, I don't. I hope not.
Like I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying that like I could see that happening.
I
Especially if it has some like flashbacks into people's past.
Oh, that way maybe.
I think it could be a thing where it's like in certain parts of the episode it might be depressing or something, but I don't know if it will be like a whole arc or anything.
Probably
at the end.
Not. But
I mean, feel like we will see parts of people's pasts and probably like they'll be like interspersed, but I don't know if it will be like heavily at the end or not per se. I mainly say that because the manga is still going, so I'm assuming that it still keeps its comedy up until the end. But I also I
could see random moments of like something that's like really sad.
Yeah, I also say that because in episode 8 there was
a flashback.
There was a flashback, but there is also that very dark part.
Oh yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah, there is actually a dark part in the beginning of episode 8. So.
Oh, okay then.
Valen doesn't know it yet because we weren't able to watch the dub.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It only comes out. Well, it will be out by the time this comes out, but yeah, there is actually. So that's why that's another reason why I'm like I feel like it'll be interspersed. I guess we kind of also saw it with the protest
Oh yeah.
that we saw, where a lot of people were very angry at the announcer and stuff
Mm-hmm.
and everything. When Anya was reading their minds.
When Anya got kidnapped.
Oh yeah, Anya.
Twice.
But yeah.
Yay. Yeah.
Please watch
Go watch
Spy
it.
Family. It's adorable and wholesome. If that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. But it is just very wholesome and adorable
And funny.
and hilarious. Yes, especially all the facial expressions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Anya especially has like great facial expressions. The fucking
Yeah.
the fucking smirking was like, oh my god.
Mommy is a liar.
Mommy's a liar. Smiling can do anything. I hope that face comes back. It's so great.
Oh, the animation is also really pretty in this.
Yeah.
It also appears that they took a lot of inspiration from like the 50s and 60s by the looks of it too.
I think so. Yeah.
Which
Oh yeah.
I guess.
Well, also just like some of like the names of locations is like. I don't
Oh
know,
yeah,
It's like so on the
Berlin.
nose. Berlin, like all right. Like.
Westalius. I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
what that is supposed to represent.
But yes, tis good. Do recommend as someone who came into this knowing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. What were you expecting at first, actually?
I knew absolutely nothing, and you told me to not look anything up. So I'm like, okay, I don't know anything.
Have no expectations.
I guess I didn't expect it to be like. The thing that was the most off-putting is the wrong word because it implies that it's like a negative thing. But like the most unexpected was just how quick everything was. But like, you know, that was used to its advantage. So
Yeah.
because as I was watching the first episode, I'm like, it just keeps going. They're just still going. Oh my lord! So,
Breakneck speed.
And yes, at breakneck speed is a hot sec.
Yeah.
well, speaking of still going, what shall we be going to do next weekend or next
Oh
week?
yeah.
we're-
The wheel still exists. We did not forget about it.
That's that
Yes.
there's only one thing left on the wheel,
For
which
this
is
cycle, yes.
yes, which is Valen's bane of his existence.
I did not say that. Well, why don't we, Tara? Why don't you do the honors? Say what it is.
So we're watching Heta next.
The Bollywood film.
It is a Hollywood film. It's either Peta or Peta. I forgot how you actually. We'll learn when we watch the movie.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
the name of the guy.
Okay.
So the reason I had originally put it on the massive master list is that I had watched it and I was like, this sounds like the kind of. I know Valen is not going to be he's going to be very apprehensive about this, but I think he'll actually really enjoy this and stuff like that. So I put it on the list, and then lo and behold, it was randomly picked.
Oh, and so yeah, we'll be watching that next. That'll be up next Monday. But also, speaking of stuff that you picked, what did you replace? The last thing we watched before
right.
Ghibli month was the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. So so you replaced it with?
So it's actually kind of ironic we watched Spy X Family
Oh yeah,
because we are watching The Batman.
Yeah. Well, not next, but
Hopefully
eventually.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully sooner rather than later.
And,
But,
and that movie will have the exact same tone as this for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure it will have
Especially since Edward Cullen is in it.
it.
Uh,
Save me, Lloyd, man. I'm sure that is the plot of the whole movie. Save
Yes.
me, Lloyd, man. There'll be a castle, Princess
God.
Honey movie.
Wait, no, I'm literally just imagining someone like, you know that meme where it's like, I'm gonna tell my children that this was the blank or whatever, and it's like something.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Just take a screenshot of that whole scene and say, I'm gonna tell my children this was Batman.
Perfect.
There's actually this whole thing. I mean, it works out, I think.
I think it works.
But before we get that, we have PETA, whatever.
Yeah.
We will
This
see.
movie.
I will say it is at least a bit better that we're watching this when it's summer and I don't have to deal with school and don't have to get up early like most days, because this is like long. Which that was the main reason I was iffy on it, which is because it's like 3 hours long. So the fact that at least I'm not like in the middle of school when that's happening is good. So I'm more receptive to it now than I would have been. So
you've been saved, Fallon.
Yay!
Yay! Man, I should have done any Spy Family stuff at the con instead.
It's okay, we got one of your daughters.
That's true.
Out of context, that's a very weird comment. Anyway, we're gonna end right now. So yes, go watch Thing.
Yes.
And we will watch other Thing next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.